Good Wednesday, ladies. I hope you're well and hope you're taking that well-recovered rest if you've caught up with a workout of these last 2 days and those that have been on the lives as well this week. Great to see the commitment already. And hopefully we are trying to stay active with our steps. It's a bit drizzly here in Manchester today, so wherever you are, I guess we've probably got the same sort of overcast weather. Just wanted to jump on today with this video, which you can watch back at any time, just to highlight the title, weight loss and fat loss and calories, as it seems that a few of you are maybe getting lost in what we're looking or what you are looking to really achieve and how you are monitoring the progress. I was going to do some fancy presentation, but instead I'll just go explain it because it'll be easier to go through than trying to show you a chart and it not make sense. So what we need to remember is firstly our scale weight. There's many factors that will affect your scale weight, okay? So you've got your food choices. What did you last eat and what was in that meal? Was it a very high carbohydrate meal? How close was it before you got on the scales? Is it still digesting through the system? So is it still there in the body when you're getting on the scales? Possibly the next morning it could still be there. How much water were you intaking prior to getting on the scales? Again, higher the carbohydrate meal, the higher the intake of water, more likely that there's going to be carbohydrates retained as water is pulling in the carbohydrates, okay, to the muscles. So there's two factors just there alone. For you ladies, obviously you've got to consider your menstrual cycle as well. How close is that to happening? Are you actually taking your weight when that is in that period of those 7 days when it's going to be at its highest, your weight again? How have you slept? How recent have we exercised? Was it a heavy session? Have you done any external exercises outside of boot camp with any weights, causing a higher resistance to the body? So there are just some factors without going into too much of a deeper detail of how they all affect the scale weight, but they all will affect that scale weight. That's why it's important, as I say, that we take it first thing in the morning, okay? And ideally we're doing that dehydrated. So before we've had any liquids, if you've gone to the loo beforehand, then it's going to help a little bit. But ideally before you've had a full day of food and liquid inside you, before you jump on those scales to see what's happening. If you were to do it throughout the day and you did it first thing in the morning, then say lunchtime, not long after you've eaten, and then again at night, you will see the fluctuations yourself in that scale, okay, to get an idea of how much our body does change throughout the day, depending on our activities, depending on what we're consuming, depending on what we're digesting in food. So try not to just look at that number as if you are not making progress, okay? Fat loss will never show on the scale. I know some of you may have the fancy scales, or those scales like I've got where it'll do a fat reading, percentage reading, tell you how much body weight fat you're carrying, how much visceral fat, which is fine from a data point of view. If you're using those scales to help monitor it, then great, because that'll just give you a reference point and the data, again, a number to look at to see any progress. But with fat loss, it's going to be fat loss, okay? Fat loss is going to show in your clothes, how you feel, your measurements. So it's important you do take the measurements regularly in the same spots on your body so you can see overall what's happening, okay? So there is no expected rate of weight loss. So say you've not moved weight for a couple of weeks and you have been honest and you have actually tracked your foods and you've been doing your steps, you've been doing the exercise and nothing's changed. If you slacked off on your NEAT, so your steps mainly, and you're not hitting that target of steps and you're only doing 2 workouts instead of 3 before and your food's not been 100% there, then don't expect to see great changes, okay? Everything needs to be getting ticked off each day and consistently for you to get that change. So if you're low on steps, that's your focus. You know you're getting your workouts done every week and your food's pretty much close to consistent every time, there'll be a change. But if you go 2 weeks without no change on the scale, don't think that you're not losing fat, okay? It isn't going to show every week okay? So that's why measurements done weekly or every 2 weeks is going to show a better progress for you in terms of fat loss, because ultimately you all want to drop some fat but look stronger, so you're going to be looking more toned, as you may put it. But that comes through building our resistance keeping our muscle there by eating enough protein as well, and staying active in order to help drop some fat, okay, without having to drop our calories too much. If you're still finding yourself going up and down with the calories, then obviously that's you having to get better with your choices of food, and also remembering to look at what's triggering you to go overeat. Is it just you're not wanting it enough? You know, you don't want to change it and get to that goal enough that you just let yourself go at the weekend? Or has something triggered you to go off and just eat for England, or, you know, not stop eating? So usually we'll have either a trigger that will set us off eating, whether it's stress, whether it's something that's happened in our day to cause us to go like that, or if we've just gone without eating all day, then we're going to be hungry, and that can make us overeat quite easy. Or is it because you're not really bothered about getting to that goal that you've got in your head? Okay, so you need to notice the difference. There's either the goal is important to you, and you're just choosing not to be focused right now, or that day, or that week, or is it because something's triggered you to go off on overeating that day and relax a bit too much, and you're not really bothering about what you're doing, okay, in terms of our food. But in terms of seeing the progress, the scales will not shift every week, so you need to look at the other areas for progress, measurements, pictures again, how you're feeling in your training, have you got enough energy to go off as well, okay? So ultimately, we don't want to be getting glued to that scale weight. I know for some of you in the challenge, for example, have not maybe moved weight for 2 weeks, but you've lost 6 inches from the start. So you can see the difference. Your weight's pretty much stayed the same. You might have dropped a few pounds, say 6 to 8 pounds, but your inches have gone down 6 inches, but your weight might have not changed for the last 2 weeks, but the inches are going down. So we know your body's changing shape. Yeah, so don't get stuck on thinking the weight hasn't moved off those scales. There's a lot of factors to go into that. We've got to stick with consistency with the calories. Obviously, coming up after week 6, there's 2 weeks for us to really push it, and calories may be getting dropped for some of you. We'll see when you check in this week what I advise to do, whether you follow the plan and drop them down slightly, or maybe stick as we are and give it one big push to the end of week 8 before you all will be eating more food. If you're not already, your calories will go up from week 8 slightly, okay? Not massively, but they will go up, and you'll take that diet break, as we call it in the industry, at usually maintenance calories for a week or 2, so you can get yourself refocused, give yourself some more energy, and set your next goal from there, where you want to go. Hope it all makes sense. It's quite a long 8-minute video, but it is important for some of you in here that you actually listen and take this on board when you are looking at your own progress this week and beyond. Any questions though, to reconfirm anything I've said, just drop them below. Have yourselves a great day. Don't forget those steps, and keep that phone in your pocket, Gonya, so you can add it all up today. See you soon tomorrow, hopefully, for the live.